Hello, beautiful YouTubers. This video comes from a request through my Instagram. Yeah, and I often put up little stories and ask my followers questions. And today I asked, what do you want me to talk about? What topic would you like to hear? And if you're not following me on Instagram, it's at Luke Greenheart. So very easy to follow and find. So go check it out and let's interact, let's connect. You'll see lifestyle and behind the scenes of my life with my cats, my dog, nature. Yeah, it's just my way of sharing and connecting. So the question I got asked, there was two questions. I'm going to answer one in this video and then answer the other in a second video. So the first question was, how do you find balance while being of service to others? Yeah, and for me, that was a process. That wasn't instant. I've always wanted to be of such service. Like when I was younger, I always cared. I cared for my mother. I tried to take care of everyone. I really didn't like confrontation, so it was all about trying to find that balance for people, and it was all external. Internally, I was in chaos, in pain, in suffering, in depression. Physical ailments arose, insomnia, chronic fatigue. Lots of problems were happening in my life because I wasn't actually taking care of myself. And I thought I was watching what I ate. I'd exercise, I'd go to the gym, but it was the attitude I was in, the state I was in. Yeah, and it was a big part of that was living in the future, living in expectations. I wasn't present, I wasn't in the moment. But I didn't know that my attitude, how I feel, and what affects me internally is within my control. I was trying to control everything externally and get into a place where it's like, oh, if I fix this, I fix that, I'll feel good. If I help that person, I'll feel good. And I was always chasing these feelings. And I found that didn't work. And it was only when life got a lot more chaotic and everything in my life fell apart that in that moment, like if you followed my content, I had a really bad suicidal episode, 2015, where life was just hitting me hard and hard. It's like being in the ring, like boxing. Yeah, and this was like the final. I've been knocked down so many times, but I always got up. And this time I just got hit with so many blows and such a big, powerful blow that I was on that edge where I was just thinking, I can't get up. Someone throw the towel in. Yeah, it's too much, life's too much. And it was all external chaos. I wasn't on drugs, I didn't drink. I was always trying to take care of my body and what I thought was the best way. And I'll tell you a little story, if you don't mind, of a bit more detail of that process is, so 2015, started the year with tearing my bicep, moving a washing machine, which was really painful and really bad. 2 days later, my love Danielle had a cardiac arrest, dropped dead to be brought back on defibrillators, told she'd never walk again, told that she's got a little bit of brain damage, memory loss from the loss of oxygen, and the doctors told me she'll be dead within 5 years, almost guarantee. They just said she's lucky to have survived this one. And at this point, I became her full-time carer, looking after her. And I was already the full-time carer for my mother, as well as trying to be an entrepreneur, because I had to work for myself, because I couldn't maintain a job with the amount of care I had to do. And so in this time, I was going back and forth from my mum to Danielle. My brother was diagnosed Crohn's disease and he was really sick, and like he couldn't help so much or do much, and he was always my support and my structure in life. So I was now like caring for him, caring for Danielle, caring for my mum. And every month for 7 months, my mum tried a suicidal overdose. And she didn't die. She kept paracetamol overdose was the main thing she did, but she couldn't take the suffering. I think partly me not being there caring for Danielle also affected her, but I also feel she was trying to take herself out of the situation to actually relieve myself of what she felt like as a burden. And during this, after so many times and so much stress, lost work, wasn't able to work, I was stealing to eat, and I got my mum back from the hospital one day, and I had to go to check on Danielle, and I'd left her for the longest time it had been in a while. And I had to walk. I didn't even have a car at this time. It was like a 45-minute to an hour walk to get to Danielle's to see her. And on the walk, in the last 5-10 minutes, I crossed a really large bridge with 6 lanes of heavy traffic underneath it. And as I was crossing, like the whole walk, all I'm thinking about is my mum gonna be doing an overdose right now that I'm not with her? Is Danielle gonna have had another cardiac arrest or committed suicide herself or dead, or what's happened to her before I even arrived there? I'm feeling like it's my responsibility, the pressure. And I was crossing this bridge, and in that moment I was just like, I can't take this. Life's just too painful. And there was no future of any glimpse of any possibility of a good feeling. of anything that I've ever wanted to happen in. So I was crossing that bridge and I was just stopped, watching the cars, watching them fly by at like 70 miles an hour and more. And I was like, you know what, if I jump, that's it. Suffering is over. Yeah, at the time I had no faith, I had no religion, I had no belief in, it's just light switch on, light switch off. You know, so I was like, time for the light to go out. It's time to jump. It's time to end it. Make a big bang. Let people know there's some crazy stuff happening in the world and people are suffering. You know, and it's like, go out with a bang. And in the milliseconds of my thought, of my choice of actually about to do it, I'm not sure what happened. I was hit with inspiration, what I call like a fighting force. I was hit with this force that I'm going to find a way. Life can get more chaotic. It can all fall apart. Danielle could be dead when I turn up. My mum could be dead when I go back and see her. My brother may never get better and I'll be caring for him. And I was like, but I'll find a way to feel joy, to feel love, to be able to just appreciate life and be a part of life, no matter what happens. Yeah, that force hit me and that stopped me jumping. It didn't change my mood. I wasn't now walking with a smile and all happy and la-di-da. I went to see Danielle and she was alive and she was in a terrible state. I was carrying her to the bathroom, helping her wash, you know, cooking, doing whatever I can, giving her medication. She was on extreme amounts of morphine. But in that time, I was like, in every spare moment I had was looking into how can I find joy? What is life? And I'd always question life because I had suicidal episodes from like 7 years old. And I was always saying, what's the point? What's the point? Why me? Why me? What's the point? These were constant thoughts. Now it was like, what's the way? Where's the way? How can I find something internally? And I didn't really know what I was looking for. I was just seeking. I was like, there must be a way. And in my younger years, I went to India and saw children suffer in immense poverty, terrible lifestyles, and they were smiling and happy. And at that time I was depressed and I was like, how are they happy? I couldn't appreciate fully being where I was and enjoying what I was doing, but I was there witnessing it, suffering their suffering. But I saw smiles and I was jealous, I was envious. I was like, I want them smiles. It's beautiful to see these children smiling, but how the hell are they smiling in their environment, in their situation? It was a question for me all the time. But it opened up that possibility that it's possible. And then in this time I was like, do you know what? I saw that. That taught me that it's not the external that's dictating how I feel. And I didn't know how to do this. I was just like, but I got to find out. I got to find out how. How can I change my feelings internally, even if there's something crazy going off? Yeah, and always being assertive and always being prepared. I was a bit like a paramedic my whole life, like emergency care service for my mother, for Danielle. And I was always like, I've got to be conscious, I've got to be available, I've got to be a full service, and trying to do that. But it was done with coldness. For myself, I would show them love, I would show them care. But I felt cold, I felt emotionless because I was trying not to feel their pain, and that's all I could feel. I could feel my mum suffering. She had no friends. And that was killing me inside. I was like, imagine having no friends. I've even got friends, yeah. Like, even though my life was crazy, I had friends. My mum hasn't got a single friend. No one comes to visit. Family occasionally comes to visit, and I can see they just suffer her pain as well. So everything was painful. So I numbed my feelings. Yeah, trying to control that. I was like, I can just turn up at the situation, be assertive, be available, but you have to cut your feelings off to do that. It's what I thought at the time. But that cut off all my feelings. I couldn't feel joy, I couldn't feel love, I couldn't feel ecstatic excitement. None of them feelings were there. So as the time went by, years went by, I found many techniques. I studied anatomy. I wanted to know everything about the body and its structure. I studied everything I could on the mind and thoughts, learning what am I, who am I, where am I, what's the purpose, and just immense amount of time in this place and these questions. And because of my lifestyle at the time, being in full-time care with like Danielle, sometimes I might be sitting somewhere with her, caring for her while she's in agony, screaming in pain, having like epileptic type fits, you know, the body spasming all over and I'm trying to help relax her. Having crazy thoughts, suicidal thoughts, traumatic events, and just like seeing someone go through like a life of function to none, you know, pushing her around in a wheelchair, trying to get her out when she doesn't want to go out, just to see the outdoors. And the same with my mum. And it's like, for me, it's reliving the same thing. I've now got the person I love is the same as my mother in that sense, and I'm doing the same thing. So I was just battling this, but it gave me lots of contemplation. And I think contemplation, in a place, if you can get into contemplation, and by that I mean you're not feeling, you're very analytical, but you're sitting in it. You're sitting in the questions and you're asking the questions. Who am I? What am I? Why am I? And in that place you have an immense amount of inner intelligence. The same intelligence that turns your food into waste and new cells is within you. And if you try and comprehend doing that as a conscious process, it's beyond your conscious abilities, yet you are doing it. No matter who you are, if you're alive, you're regenerating cells. You know, and if you're really ill, you're regenerating cells, just not as strong as your wasting cells. So it's about realizing that intelligence within is there. So if you can sit with that intelligence and open yourself up to these questions and being fully open, you'll be very surprised of the intuition and the thoughts that manifest within that give you answers, that send you in new directions. You know, and obviously what you study, what you look at, what you put into your external environment will make a difference. So I just spent time, I was like, my time's so precious now to care for Danielle, care for my mum, care for my brother. I can't be binge watching TV shows. I can't be doing this. I can't be putting in junk food. I need to know what's the best food. How should I eat? And like I said, I was always dieting, but it was for fitness. And I was like, no, how can I eat to be the most efficient I can be for these other people, not for myself? How can I be the most efficient going through that process? So I was just studying nutrition, and I've been a personal trainer and helped people with nutritional diets, but again for fitness. Now I was like, now how can I be of the most function, stability in my mood, and optimal service? So I was going through that process, studying everything I could. And now a ridiculous vast amount of information, almost too much for most people, of what we can get on YouTube, online, just Googling. And apologies, my camera overheats when it's been running for too long, so I must have spoke for a little while. Not sure how long, but I spoke for a little while. And yeah, so sitting in that, learning about the body, learning about anatomy, you know, and all of them processes took years, going up and down, and it wasn't till alternative care, chiropractic care, complete switch of nutrition, doing all these things. But I was up and downs, crazy up and downs, like, and I wasn't feeling love, I wasn't feeling joy. I knew it was a possibility, and I was looking for it, I was seeking for it for a long time. Life was still chaotic, the future was still chaotic, I wasn't getting what I want. I moved country to take Danielle to an alternative care, I had to leave my mum with my brother, which I'd never done in my entire life for such a long time. That was incredibly difficult, incredibly painful, and was a process that caused me much trauma and stress during that time. And then I got to a point where I was practicing breath work and spine mobility and sort of like opening up my nervous system, my energy structure, breathing in and exhaling out what I don't need and breathing in the abundance I do need, doing all these sort of practices and finding balance in this chaos. Oh, I just dropped my phone because I'm recording this on my phone at the same time. Yeah, so I can put it up on Instagram or TikTok or wherever I want, but I just dropped it, so hopefully it's all right. So just bear with me one moment. It is still recording. Am I back? Sorry about that, I am back. Yeah, so it took that. So finding balance, like I said, this video has gone on a little longer, a little bit more depth, but I thought I really want to give a personal response. Now, from everything I accumulated, finding balance comes from daily practices of self-love, daily practices of breath work, realizing that my complete external world is not mine to control. Yeah, and that's a big part of it, that I have an ability to grasp and manage and sort of direct and be a sort of CEO internally, and your constant process, like a business, you're always trying to develop and grow and expand and make it more optimum. But that's internal. What I can offer external is influence. So I have a YouTube channel, podcast. So I can offer opportunity for others. I can offer influence to the external, but I take away all responsibility of control. I take away all judgment, all conditions on others. There's no condition someone can do something that could be the most offensive thing to the way I live my life. That's not my place, that's their journey, their life. I can offer influence from a place of love, unconditional love. You can't have unconditional love if there's judgment. If you're judging someone for how they act, how they behave, that's going to rewire you internally to more self-judgment and knock you off balance. And he said, to me, balance is harmony, like a song, an instrument out of tune is horrible sound. No one wants to play it, no one wants to hear it. But an instrument in tune is beautiful. Whatever your favorite instrument is, I don't think there's someone that just doesn't like some form of music, some form of instrument playing. But it has to be in tune. So for me, it's constantly having daily practices to keep myself in tune. If something in life happens where I feel my attitude didn't respond correctly to what my intentions are, if it didn't really feel like love, unconditioned, if I feel like judgments come up, if I feel like sadness has come up and I'm influencing that out, then I self-assessed and go, I must have gone out in tune in some way. So I look at my body, am I physically out of tune? Do I have pain somewhere? Do I have stiffness somewhere? Has my posture gone bad? Has something happened to my body? Have I ingested some form of chemical or some form of food that I didn't realize isn't aiding me and facilitating me in a productive way? So I look at the chemical side, the physical side, and then I look at my thoughts, and that comes from meditation, time alone, self-analysis of, was I had a continuous pattern of some type of thought that's actually destructive, that's bringing me down, that's knocking me out of balance? And sometimes it's like, we know so much what we don't want, but have I been intentionally setting the thoughts I do want? What thoughts, if you could choose the thoughts you want cycling through your mind, through your being, what thoughts would you choose? A little tactics for this. Sorry, again, the wind is picking up and it's knocking things about. So a tactic you can use is to sit alone for a bit of time every day, even 10 minutes, and write down on a pen and paper. Apologies for the keep cutting, the camera cut out, my phone dropped, and my memory is running out, so I went on longer than expected, so I'll have to keep this short. But a tactic you can use to help with thoughts that I found really helpful is to get pen and paper, sit with yourself for 10 minutes every day in a quiet, do a couple of breaths, get yourself relaxed, and just try and analyze what's been the most recurring thought that you can witness that went through your system over the last day. And do that every day. Have you noticed there's 2 thoughts that are the most consistent? Write them down and then reevaluate them thoughts and see what attitude are they coming from? What place are they supportive? If someone was asking that, if someone walked in the room and was saying that to you every single day, how would you feel? And if you feel like it's not actually encouraging, empowering, how can you rewrite that question? And practicing to notice when you have that question arise and having a counteraction thought to knock it out the room and knock it out your mind. So I'm going to keep this short, keep it short. I'm going to have to end this now because of my memory. I hope that answers your question. That was from Make Good Together. Check them out on Instagram. I think you can just Google them, you'll find them pretty quick. And have a beautiful day. Drop a comment with any thoughts from this video. You can connect through my Instagram or TikTok, through here on YouTube. Subscribe, like, comment, share, do all that stuff. And request a video if you'd like, and I'll share my thoughts. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you on the next video. Don't forget to check my podcast. New episode out every Sunday, 3 p.m. GMT, 3 p.m. EST, 12 midday PST. There's 8 p.m. GMT, so many time zones, but every Sunday, check it out. New episodes, YouTube and all podcast platforms. Have a beautiful day. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. I truly appreciate your presence here. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, hit the subscribe button if you're not following me already. Click the recommended video. That's what YouTube recommends you should watch next, so click it. Have a beautiful day. If you haven't, click the like button as well. It really helps other people see. And comment. I'd love to know where you're from. Let's connect.